Hey guys, this is Brad from Dallas Geek, and I'm here today with
Karlyn Fedora.
And we're here to talk about your book that you are actually in the process of writing right now.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what is the premise of the book?
Well, my father-in-law came over from New York City to Texas on the orphan train. And this happened in the late 1800s and 1900s. They were bringing children, orphans, who had been abandoned, and they were taking them across America and doling them out to farmers and people who were supposed to adopt them.
Sure. So this is a bit of you were saying historical fiction, trying to take as much of the actual facts as you can, but put in your own creative twist to kind of fill in the blanks in between, right?
Yes, that's correct. I'm writing it with the attitude of the father and my father-in-law. His name was Giuseppe Manzoni.
Okay.
Which I love that name. That's exciting, Giuseppe Manzoni.
Nice.
And so I'm writing it with his viewpoint. And so that's challenging. I have to try to think like a man would think and put his ideas in there. But in the historical part, I tell about all of the immigrants that came in and the problems that they had in New York City.
Sure. People
were coming in, there were no jobs, people were begging for food. And so many, many families had no choice but to take their children to an orphanage. And this is what happened, I think, with my father-in-law. His mother, I believe, was not married, and she found herself in a precarious situation.
Sure. And
she gave her baby up to the orphanage.
So I'm assuming since this does kind of hit close to home with talking about family to some generations back, were you able to speak to your husband's side of the family very much about what their knowledge of events was to kind of get some context for the story?
They had no knowledge, knowledge of it.
Okay.
My husband started trying to find answers about 25 years ago and found limited information because they didn't keep many records at the orphanage. And they had thousands of children coming through.
Wow.
And so it's very limited, just 1 or 2 pages. But I do know that he came over, Giuseppe came on the orphan train at the age of 3.
Wow.
And as the orphan train went across America, they would stop at the small towns and they would line the children up from the tallest to the youngest. And the farmers would come out and they would check the guys, and if they had muscles or looked healthy, they would choose the older ones first so they could later farm them on the farms.
Sure.
So my father-in-law made it all the way to Texas because he was 3.
Sure.
And so he was a 3-year-old, and then a little 2-year-old Irish girl was taken by a Russian woman, farmer.
Wow.
And she was not married, and she took these 2 children in. So the only way I know my father-in-law is through my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that because of the things that my father-in-law and his wife went through, well, then you have a result. You have your children, grandchildren acting certain ways because of what they've lived through.
Sure. So what inspired you to want to write this kind of historical fiction?
Well, my husband, first of all, wanted me to do this. But then I thought, what an interesting story it is. So many people do not know of the orphan train. That was 100 years ago, and it's already lost. And I think it's important for our culture to know that there are hardships, but you can overcome those hardships, which is what he did. He Giuseppe took a 6th grade education and became a very successful man. He made lots of money, he lost lots of money, but he was successful. He took what he had and made the most of it. So I think people need to know that story. They need to know the background of what America's made of.
Very cool. So you had been saying that you anticipate the publishing your book to be about 2019 sometime?
Yes, I think it'll probably be 2019 before it comes out. That's my goal, January or February 2019.
And you said you do have a Facebook.
Yes, I have Facebook,
Awesome.
Karlyn Fedora, but I don't have a website yet.
All right.
Those are things that I'll be working on.
Well, then we will definitely be making sure to put a link to her Facebook down in the description so that as soon as the book comes out, you all can go find wherever she has posted for publishing. So if you are interested in this kind of historical fiction, absolutely go check it out. And until next time, this is Brad from Geek saying, see ya.